A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a scavenger with a dream discovered a Jedi's soul, etched not in the Force, but in kyber and crystal. Spiraken Manga Review, episode 612. I'm Zan, konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, and what's up? As you remember last episode, I spun the wheel of manga, and this time it sent me into a galaxy ruled by the First Order, where the Jedi are legends, lightsabers are relics, and the Force doesn't always choose who you expect. So let's talk about Path of the Lightsaber, a Star Wars story by Kenny Ruiz. And this is a manga that is set after one of the most controversial Star Wars stories. And what are we talking about? We're talking about The Last Jedi. And this is the story of Nyoka, a young girl who's obsessed with the Jedi, the importance of them, that for 1,000 years, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and order, and their most important relic was the lightsaber, a weapon for a more civilized time, which transcended the will of the Force to do something unique. And it's known in this world that recently there was a final battle between the last Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker, and the supreme leader of the First Order, Kylo Ren. And most people believe it was a solid victory, that they defeated the supreme leader, and now things are going well. And the Force is on the side of the Resistance. And Nyoka is a young dreamer who hopes that one day the Jedi will come back to save the day, and more importantly, will help her to be the best she can be. Unfortunately, that's not the breaks because realistically, she is a tinkerer who works on a salvage ship called the Random Luck with her crewmate, Barun, who's this former supporter of the rebellion and the resistance in a world where the resistance is no longer really around. There's references to Bail Organa, how she escaped from the First Order, and Barun, who is this former rebel, then resistance leader, and now just pilot, is totally amping her up, saying, I was one of the people on Endor who kicked ass. We all shot him. We all did this. Meanwhile, the actual captain of the ship is like, you're crazy and stupid. I mean, come on. Didn't they say that the Ewoks saved the Battle of Endor? Nah, that's not true. The little teddy bears, that's not true. But you just fly the ship. I'm the captain. Barun, you are the pilot. And you, little Nyoka, you're not a Jedi. You're not an adventurer. You're just a tinkerer. And this is the world that Nyoka lives in, a world where the resistance is the only hope they have in a world where the Force Order has taken over everything. Love it or hate it, the movie had an interesting ending where it showed anyone could use the Force, anyone could be a hero. And that's what this is. It's about someone who anyone could be the hero. And also, in a world where idealism is so important, this is one where it focuses on that because Barun and the captain are both like, yeah, you shouldn't do this. We're going to take jobs from whoever we want, even if it's from the First Order. And Barun's like, you weren't around when the Empire was here. It's horrific and terrible. And the guy's like, you know what? You're too old to worry about this. We're just, we just got to go with it. Doesn't matter who. And they've been hired to work on a specific ship, to find a ship and salvage it. And after a little bit, they do find this ship, and unfortunately, or fortunately for Nyoka, in the depths of this old ship from the golden age of the Republic, she finds the remnants of a Jedi cruiser. And inside of it is a mummified Jedi clutching what else but a lightsaber. And with this, Nyoka will discover the power in herself, and more importantly, she'll be that Jedi that she's always wanted to be. Or maybe she'll just be a pretender. Who knows? But that's what this story's about. It's about Naoka discovering what it is to be a Jedi, to learn the awesomeness that is being a Jedi, and more importantly, the truth of it. And how things like a lightsaber is not like a conventional sword, and having to learn with no master, because in this world, there are no Jedi left. All the Jedi are gone. All that are left are, well, there's Rey, who's not officially known, but there is the Order of Ren, who ended up hiring this crew to look for something. Well, not really. It is Master Itai, the Ren prospect. Someone else who's looking for Jedi information, who unfortunately is going to be at odds with Nyoka. Or are they on a similar path because he's also someone who doesn't use a lightsaber or uses the Force, but believes in the opposite cause? So this is the story of two people, two individuals who are on very similar paths, but on two different sides of the Force. And that's what this story is. It is a story of the dark side and the light side of the Force through two very different individuals. It's not just Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Rey, Kylo Ren, all these other characters. No, these are different characters who are all new. It's a fresh perspective in this story. And the art is pretty good because Kenny Ruiz has done some pretty good stuff. He did Team Phoenix, which is one of my favorite series. And his take of the Star Wars universe is well done. Like he has this droid, which is literally an Imperial interrogator droid. You remember them from Empire Strikes Back, who is constantly saying, I'm going to self destruct now. And his master's like, no, you're not doing that. I need you for this. Because it turns out that there's MacGuffins going on. There is more to this story going on, but this is that story of a girl who finds a lightsaber, a Ren initiate who is hunting this girl down to get that lightsaber and to learn about what is going on and transformation. This is the first volume of this series. I think it's only 3 volumes, but it is one which is very different. And as someone who is a Star Wars fan, a huge Star Wars fan, I mean, the fact that my work wedding ring, I have 2 wedding rings, my work wedding ring has a lightsaber on it with my favorite version of the lightsaber, which is the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker saber. You know, I like Star Wars. I like a lot of series. I wasn't a fan of the sequel series, but I do like Star Wars. I was a fan of the Legends universe, and well, anyway, I'm not going to get into my Star Wars cred. But this is a faithful, unique entry into Star Wars that does something different. There's lots of references to the original series and all of it while doing something new. And I love the fact that Nyoka is someone who's like, she was someone who her entire village got raided, and then the First Order shows up and kidnaps all of them, but she was hiding. And her whole thing is she is someone who wants to be a Jedi. She does the whole Jedi moves, nothing happens, and she's very adaptable and smart, and she figures things out by looking and learning. And then we have Barun, who is the former rebel soldier, who's just a pilot, and he's just like, I'm idealistic and happy, could have pushed the narrative that I did more than I could, and he might be a scoundrel, but he's there for this girl. And he says, you need to find a master because you're going to be a Jedi, and I'm going to protect you. Another character shows up who, well, we can't talk about that character, spoilers, but it's a potential avenue for her to learn about the Jedi more so, but not through the way that you would think, because, well, things. Now, what are some of my, well, so yeah, one volume looks good. It actually is written, as you could see, left to right, because it is made by Kenny Ruiz. So it's essentially a regular graphic novel made by Viz Media and Disney and LucasArts, because you have to get that for Star Wars. And there's some great moments in this. It's a very well done story. It's a little niche because it is a retread of a lot of story elements from the story. And most importantly, it is low stakes because this is taking place between the Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. So we know what happens. We know what happens at the end of Rise of Skywalker. We know what characters are expendable, which ones are not. And it's kind of low. It's not low risk, but it kind of leads to a little bit of, we don't know what's going to happen. But anyway. Now, there's a couple other elements I was kind of iffy and wishy-washy on, but let's get to it. Let's just get to the rating. So for this episode, for Path of the Lightsaber, Star Wars story by Kenny Ruiz, I'm going to have to give this a Gift from a Crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but in the end, forgettable. It is fresh, ground-level perspective of Star Wars from the point of view of someone who's not in the rebellion, who's not in the resistance, who's just a fangirl for being in of the Jedi. And I like that she's someone she's not a force sensitive, she's not a force adept. She's just someone who loves the Jedi, but she's a huge tinker and she understands science. It's pretty well regarded in that way, and I like that she thinks on her feet. Now, the other part is the exploration of the post Last Jedi era works well because it's right after the Resistance has fallen. The New Republic has fallen, the First Order is in charge, Kylo Ren runs everything, and this is that world. It's kind of dark, it's kind of sad. But like I said, for the cons, this is a kind of derivative story beats. It's an unknown hero finds a lightsaber and then they're going to go save the world. We've heard this story before many times. Also, we have the mentor problem in this timeline because literally she has no one who she can go to. There aren't a lot of force sensitive left. I mean, the only ones that are established at this point at the end of Last Jedi are, well, Rey and a few others. There's no one else. So who's she going to learn? What's going to happen? And like I said, limited stakes. The series is it's not going to reinvent the wheel. This character doesn't show up in any future product. I mean, I'd love for her to be. If they did a Vision store with her, that'd be cool, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, those are my thoughts. It's decent. It's good. It's safe. It could do more. It stays safe. And the tropes are obviously the unexpected hero. We have the MacGuffin hunt because everyone's after the lightsaber, and then the legacy of the Jedi, the passing the torch from and saving the Star Wars Jedi legacy. That's what the story's about. Now, if you agree with me or disagree with me, you can email me personally at Xan, that's XAN at Spiraken.com, or you can message me down below at the comments, or you can just go to Instagram, Spotify, Blue Skies, or various other social media sites and leave comments. Let me know your thoughts on if you agree or disagree with this, or if you think I'm being crazy. So, either way, without that, let's actually get to it, and let's actually get to the manga releases for January 6th. And beforehand, if you saw the episode, the short, I am feeling a little bit better. I'm going to be doing 2 episodes this week. This is the one from last week. I'll be releasing the other one hopefully tomorrow. But let's see what was released last week on January 6th. We got Arabane, Volume 2, Beyblade X, Volume 5, BL Love Rebirth, My New Life is the Hero's Younger Brother, Volume 3, Bride of the Death God, Volume 2, The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows, Volume 4, this is the light novel, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, Manga Number 3, Case Closed, Volume 97, Cat's Eye, Special Edition, Omnibus, Volume 2, City Hunter, Omnibus, Volume 2, Destroy All Humans, They Can't Be Regenerated, Volume 6, Diary of a Female Lead, Volume 5, Eternal Covenant, Volume 2, Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent, Volume 5, Goblin Slayer, Side Story Year 1, Volume 4, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Mao Dao Zhen, Volume 3, Gushing Over Magical Girls, Volume 7, Hope You're Happy Lemon, Volume 2, I Shall Survive Using Potions, Volume 10, light novel, I Want Your Mother to Be With Me, Volume 2, Idol X Idol Story, Volume 4, Isekai Tensei Recruited to Another World, Omnibus 3, Kakario, Ben Breakfast for Spirits, Volume 11, Killer Shark in Another World, Volume 6, Last Samurai Standing, Volume 4, Let's Make a Harem in a Zombie World, Volume 1, Magical Maker, How to Create Magic in Another World, Volume 2, Making Magic, The Sweet Life of a Witch Who Knows an Infinite MP Loophole, Volume 3, Malevolent Spirit Monogatari, Volume 13, Mechanical Buddy Universe 1.0, Volume 1, Medalist, Volume 12, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Fafnir the Recluse, Volume 5, My Quiet Blacksmith Life in Another World, Volume 2, Ninjaverse Kakudo, Volume 11, Parasite Paperback Collection, Volume 2, The Prey and Other Work, The Art of Narasuko, Art Book, The Princess I Loved in My Past Life is Now a Middle-Aged Dad, Volume 2, Rebel Hero, I will use my skills to control the scheming princess's heart and body, Volume 2. Reborn as a mercenary, I woke up piloting the strongest ship, light novel, Volume 14. Roll Over and Die, light novel 5. Romilla War Chronicle, the Count's daughter rallies an army in the wake of mankind's victory, Volume 1 of the manga. Roses and Champagne, Volume 2. Siri Gosuke Spirit Chronicles, Volume 11. She professed herself pupil of the Wise Man, light novel 15. Sleeping on Paper Boats, Volume 2. Snow Angel, Volume 3. Star Wars, The Mandalorian, the manga, Volume 3. The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, Volume 28. Tear Moon Kingdom, Volume 7. There's Something Wrong with the Chief, Dojo Yoji's, Volume 2. Samuki Ogami's Not So Ordinary Life, Volume 4. Tune Into the Midnight Heart, Volume 5. Wonder Boy, Volume 1. The World Bows Down Before My Flames, Healing Magic Hits the Max, Volume 3. Yaiba Samurai Legend, Volume 3. Yarichin Bitch Club, Volume 6. Yashahime Princess Half Demon, Volume 8. A Yuri love story that begins with getting dumped in a dream, Volume 1. And last, and certainly not least, we've got Zero Damage Sword Saint. I enrolled in a magical school and wound up in a contract with the Demon Queen, Volume 2. So these are the manga releases for January 6th. And for me, my personal top 5 of the week are going to be City Hunter Omnibus Volume 2. You know I'm a huge fan of City Hunter. Let's Make a Harem in a Zombie World Volume 1. This does something a little bit different. I'm curious if it's going to be that they're making zombie harems or it's going to be people who are survivors in the zombie world. Mechanical Buddy Universe 1.0, I've been hearing a little bit of buzz about, so I want to check this out. The Prey plus Other Works, which is the art of Norosako. The art style for Norosako is very classic D&D, and I admit I want to check it out. And then Wonder Boy is one which just, it reminds me of the Tenacious D song Wonder Boy. So those are the ones I'm excited about. But which ones are you most excited about? Let me know. And like I said earlier, if you're interested, you can always email me personally at Zan, that's xan@spirekin.com. X me, Skype me, whatever, just any social media site at Spirekin. I'll get to be one way or the other. If you're doing it on TikTok, just beware it's Zan Spirekin, not just Spirekin, because due to some reasons, the regular Spirekin account has been locked out. But you can find me at Spirekin. I'm also on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAK and I'll get to you press one way or the other. And remember, if you are watching on YouTube, remember to, as always, like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell for notification for when we release new episodes. And before we go any further, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who are checking out this show. Every new viewer, every new comment, every new subscriber. Just gives me more motivation to keep doing this show. I love doing it. And I want to keep doing it until I'm an old man who reads manga with thick glasses and really large print manga. So thank you so much. Check out our website, www.spirekin.com, for any of our other reviews. And just so you know, I will be going to a convention next month. I am going to Ichiban Con in Concord, North Carolina. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Well, I got 2 panels going on. I'm going to be doing Intro to Manga, and I'm going to be doing Main Characters Over 30 again, because let's be honest, it's a really good panel, and we've got some new ones, especially with Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider, which that series is insane and awesome, and I love it. If you haven't watched that series, check it out. It's going to be great. But I digress. So let's get to the most popular part of this podcast, and you know what I'm talking about. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only. They will of manga. Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a title each of 10 slots, and we're going to spin that wheel. Whatever number it lands on, that's what we're going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 613. And we've got some great titles on here, everything from Magical Midliner to Rego Desperado. There's a couple of new omnibus series that just came out, especially with the fact that I just found out that they released Old Boy in a hardcover. I know I've done a couple of these before, but we'll see how the new editions are and if I've changed my mind on them like I did with Blackjack all those years ago. So let's spin and see what we're going to review in the next episode, shall we? Number 3, Mujina Into the Deep. This is one which was really popular last year. What's it about? I don't know. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As usual, I'm your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. Catch you guys next time. And as always, keep reading manga. I'll see you later.